Hi, hello, and welcome to WellSphere. This is a space to cultivate holistic health and harmonious life. We have two hosts today myself, Veena Sampath Kumar, an emotional well-being, growth, and resilience coach, and
I'm Dr. Raina Mittal. I'm one of the GPs and a lifestyle coach.
we take immense pleasure in getting started in this space, WellSphere. Now, what we're going to do in today's episode is really light, but very important. We want to talk about how we can make lasting changes because WellSphere is all about helping you taking those small steps towards the life that you dream of. Often people have resolutions, especially come January, they have resolutions, and we all know how they fall by the wayside less than 2 weeks or 4 weeks into it. And some people stick on for months, but it doesn't last. Now, we want to talk about why that is the case and what we in WellSphere are going to do differently to help you make lasting changes. Now, Reina, have you come across patients or clients who have wanted to make a change but didn't quite stick with it? What's been your experience?
Absolutely. That's always happened, isn't it? As a GP and a lifestyle coach, I always see people with this problem. They wanted to make a change and they want to feel better. Whatever happens, whenever you get them a new diagnosis, whether to themselves or in the family about diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, something clicks in and their motivation comes on. They wanted to get themselves going, but then the life happens, isn't it? Work deadlines comes in, family stress, lack of time, they slip back into the old habits and they start blaming themselves. Just on the last week I had met a client with a high cholesterol. After our first conversation, she was actually so motivated. I was so happy seeing that she's going to achieve the goal. She started walking in the morning every day. She started doing a healthy prep meal and started feeling amazing. But within 2 weeks, things change. As always, it's a life. Her workload spiked. One of her child got unwell. She fall back into the track. She's skipping the meals, ordering the meals, staying up late, and feeling completely defeated. She came back to me and she said, I'm sorry I failed again. But the truth was, she didn't fail. The system failed her. That's something I talk about all the time. It's just about willpower or motivation. It's about building a system that works with your life, not against it. That's the only way to sustainable change truly happens. So people try to do so many things at a time and they wanted to do it, but they forget the life will always throw the curveballs, isn't it? And they have to work accordingly. And that's the main reason people fall back. What do you think from your people's mindset point of view? Why do you think it's hard to keep these changes sustainable for long?
I think there are three things that come to mind. One is that I've often seen clients who say they want to make changes.
Mm,
And when I dig into, okay, why do you want to make these changes? It's because, someone said they should probably be a different way. Like parents saying, oh, you got to lose weight, and
yes.
partners saying you got to lose weight, or you should be less stressed, and whatever the change they want to see in this person. And this person ends up thinking that they are meant to do what others want of them. So it is not really their desire to make the change. They feel more compelled, but because people do it out of love, they don't really realize that it's not even their goal. They're working towards someone else's goal. And when it becomes hard, when it, is a matter of, oh, is my will strong or is this temptation strong? It's when it's not your goal, you're no longer interested, you're not passionate about it. So that's one of the first reasons why changes are not stuck with. The second is when people think that they should make a change, they're often not convinced why they should make the change. Why is this change important to me? How is it going to impact my life? And if I don't do it, what is the consequence of that? Because a strong why is what will keep you motivated. If you're going to have, I'm not really sure, maybe I just want to give it a try sort of an attitude, but you don't quite accept that that's your attitude. You want to put up that face where, yeah, yeah, I want to do it. It'll soon show. Again, when it comes to willpower versus temptation, you will have a defeat there, similar to what you described there. And the third thing is goes back to what we've been talking about, which is people think they have a finite amount of willpower. Or they even say, oh, I'm not strong willed. I have such a weak willpower. These are some of the negative stories that they tell themselves, the negative self talk that happens, which gives them that escape route. Yeah, I don't have a great willpower, so I can't really do this. You know what? This weight, I'm just stuck with it. This is how I am. Look at my parents, they're also heavy. So I'm also going to be this way. My mother had depression, so I'm also going to be depressed. And I'm saying this with all the love. You can make change, which is why you and I are here, right? To help them make those changes for themselves so that they can live their life to the fullest. What is coming to you, Reina? What's your perspective?
So, in lifestyle medicine, but we don't just ask what needs to change, we ask what's coming in the way of the change. That doesn't make sense. So,
Absolutely.
like, are you exhausted? Are you overwhelmed with the work? Are you overcommitted? Are you stressed? Because if you don't deal with these root causes, even the best plan will not work. Yeah. So instead of asking why I'm unable to stick with this plan, I often ask what's making this hard to achieve and how can I make it easier for you to make it real long lasting effect. I always think motivation is like a spark, right? So it's great to have a start a fire, but it won't keep it burning for long. So what keeps it burning is your structure. So putting some structure in a day, very simple way of going saying that, having a meal plan made in 5 minutes, not in 50 minutes, or thinking at the time when you're very hungry. You had thought overnight and said, okay, this is what I'm going to make in the morning. So everything is ready, shopping done on the weekend, and you're ready to go. Rather than when you're very hungry and then suddenly you're looking around and you're grabbing whatever is available. Again, keeping the shoes near the door. So whenever you look at the shoes or you're coming out, you say, okay, let me do 5 minutes walk if I can't go for a long walk or if I can't go for a run. So you should have a structure. Then only the motivation will be keep going. If the shoes are inside the cupboard, you would not have a motivation to go open the cupboard, get the shoes, and then go for running. But if the shoes are near the door, they keep reminding you that you should do that. So, and another thing what I like is pairing the new habit with the already you have. How about when the kettle is boiling, can you do 5 sit-ups? Can you do stretch yourself up? Because kettle is boiling, right? When you're brushing your teeth, can you try standing on 1 feet? So something which you already have to do and pairing something new into it, which is more healthy. And if you incorporate these habits, this become like your lifestyle change. You'll do them every day. So every time kettle is boiling, you're going to have a cup of tea or coffee, you can do 5 squats. Next time you
Mm.
might be able to do 10 squats. So, or lunges, anything, whatever you like. So it's not about everything about being perfect. Yeah, you need have to choose a thing which is healthier and it's easier. So convenience always trump whatever comes up first. Yeah, because life will get busy, kids will get unwell, work will ramp up. So you need something that can bend but not break. Does that make sense? Is that yeah?
Absolutely. There
So
were a couple
that's
of
what I
things. Sorry.
think. No, that's what I usually think about from the lifestyle point of view, that making a structure to the day and it don't have to be perfect. Small things and will take you a long way.
Two things have brought me up, actually. One was that I read something this morning about how sometimes we are focused on making money, right? When you're into a business, you're focused on making money, more money, more money. But the other way of thinking is not making losses as well, right? So, what you said about how not to fall back to old habits and create a structure so that it avoids you from doing that. I thought that was relatable, and maybe some of our audience who are more into finance but want to pick up on mental and physical well-being might be able to relate to that. The second thing that it brought me up was having resistance towards things that you do not want to do. So if you don't want to be eating the bar of chocolate, put it
Mm.
far, far away so you can't be bothered to go and pick it
Yes.
up. And keeping the shoes, as you said, right next to the door reduces the resistance, reduces the friction, so you're more likely to do it. I think that those are like brilliant things to keep in mind while working with us, while being on this journey to make those changes. And I must say to our audience that we're not just about the physical well-being, because that's not what lifestyle is about, although we do pick a lot of examples related to the physical well-being because it's so relatable and it's quite common. But we are all about the holistic wealth, which is what we say in our tagline as well. So we are about mental, physical, emotional well-being, and as a result, how you succeed in what you want to achieve in your life and how do you show up in life. That's what we are really interested in. So maybe, Reina, maybe I should talk about what our approach is. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know me, I have a strong engineering background as well, apart from coaching. So, we have brought in a concept from engineering into lifestyle changes, into WellSphere space, basically. Some of you may be familiar with the idea of sprinting. Now, those of you who have developed software might have developed small chunks of the software and incrementally developed big functionalities that then meet the customer requirement, right? The final product comes in the end, but every day you're working towards it incrementally, ever so slowly. So it is not overwhelming. It is agile. Things are flexible. You can move things here and there. You can make changes. It's not painful, but it is work. It's not that there is no work at all. It is work, but it is all manageable. So we want to bring that concept of sprint into well-being as well. And how we're going to do that is in every episode, we would like to incrementally give some takeaways that you can incorporate in your everyday life. And let's say our sprint may be a week long or 2 weeks long. So you will do it for that time. And I know sometimes it can seem overwhelming, but here's something that one of my mentor coaches told me. He saw in the AA board when he was once there, where it said, you just have to do it today. So all you have to do is that change for today, right? And that then breaks it down. Your mental barrier suddenly just disappears and do it just for today. That's not overwhelming, right? So we will focus on week long or 2 weekly sprints where you incorporate small changes that we talk about and build to the change that you want to get to. Is there anything else you want to add, Reina, before we wrap up?
Yeah, so very interesting. We call it, it's nice to hear what engineering terms is called. We like to call this a lifestyle shift. So I usually tell lifestyle shift is basically bringing a new behavior into your daily routine. So, for example, I usually tell my clients to say, have a fruit before a meal. Is that simple it is. So whether you are at home, you are at work, you're traveling, you're holidaying, you're eating a fruit without just before a meal. If you're not hungry, just eat a fruit. So that is we call is a lifestyle shift. It's a small, but it's sticky. It works because they remember that. So and that become a habit. So if we keep changing that habit every now and then or weekly basis or 2 weekly basis, you will realize that in a couple of months time you have lots of good habits comes in, and that's what we need, isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, so interesting.
And that's such a good feeling because I've done it myself. And when I look back, oh my God, how did I become so good at these things, right? And this applies not just to the lifestyle changes, any sort of goals that you're working towards, incremental effort towards it. Just
Mm.
consistent, show up every day, do what you committed to on a daily basis. That is all you need to do. You just need to do it today.
Yeah,
Now,
only small changes. We don't have to do any big thing. We don't have to set a target. We don't have to be perfectionist. And that's what we need to work around here. It's all about mind, isn't it? It's not about body first.
yes, it is definitely the mind first, and the audience will hear a lot of conversation around the mind and topics like stress, how the cortisol
Mhm.
affects our well-being. So many more conversations coming, and I'm really excited. So we're going to wrap this up with one small task for the audience, because after all, we said we're going to sprint and we need to go with a takeaway, right? So the takeaway, people, for you is that you will write down, and I mean actually write it down physically. What is one goal, maybe towards emotional well-being or physical well-being or mental well-being, that you want to work towards? Right, this could be something that you work with us, right? You follow our videos and our content, and you incorporate changes so that you can achieve that goal of yours. Now write down that goal, and then next write down why that goal is important to you. What will happen if you achieve that goal? What would you feel like if you achieved that goal? And importantly, what if you do not achieve that goal? What do you stand to lose? Because this often tells the real story, the real reason why you want to do it, right? 1 year down the line, if you've not started this journey, what would have you lost by then? How many of years? Just project yourself to the future and see what would you stand to lose if you don't take action now, if you don't work towards it now. So it's a very simple task. Write down your emotional or mental or physical, maybe a combination, well-being goal, and why you want to achieve it, why is it important to you, and what will happen if you do not achieve it. I hope that's nice and clear. Anything you want
Yes.
to add, Reina?
No, I think that's absolutely sound great to me. I think going very slow and asking people to write down, because that make you to think, rather than if they don't write down, you don't think and you don't process it. I'm sure people will like to tell us more about that.
So we are really looking forward to hearing some of your goals, and make sure that you follow us on LinkedIn and all our socials, and we'll see you again in the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.